According to European Public Opinion Commission, 20% of Europe thinks that climate change is the world's biggest problem, and 7% of Europe fears that we will run out of energy. In majority of countries, power stations and factories are constantly polluting water bodies and air because of lack of governmental policies. Each day, around 5,000 people die because they drink unclean water. United States produces 30% of world's waste and uses 25% of world's natural resources. Over 1 million seabirds and 100,000 sea mammals are killed each year by pollution. Currently, 1 in 8 deaths on Earth can be linked to air pollution. Breathing the air in Mumbai for one whole day is equivalent to smoking roughly 100 cigarettes. In case of pollution, the trend isn't changing. The world is getting constantly more polluted, and it's mainly because of lack of governmental policies insisted on private companies. Because of that, we need to limit pollution and emission. International community managed to organize itself and form Paris Agreement, which was supposed to be base for all environmental policies. Unfortunately, United States of America left the agreement recently, which questions the whole form of agreement. By 2088, we'll run out of current fossil fuel reserve. Many countries are focusing on renewable energy. Best example of that may be Norway, which produces 99% of its electricity from hydroelectric power plants. The poor is getting poorer, and the wealth is getting wealthier. According to 16% of surveyed Europeans, the economic situation is the biggest struggle of current world. And 28% describe poverty as biggest problem of current world. Currently, market crashes may lead to millions of people losing their jobs and all of their life savings. Usually, the only survivors after market crashes are the biggest companies. Even though some people still trust open markets so much that they would like to destabilize government, only to make private companies own the social amenities. Some people say that because of those struggles, socialism or communism is inevitable. And that basically means conflict of classes, which may eventually lead to a revolution. Unfortunately, the rule doesn't always go to the right person after the revolution. Leaders of revolutions usually talk about giving the country to the workers, although they end up being brutal dictators. But in some cases, leaders of revolution do what they promised. The good example of revolution that succeeded in giving workers rights is Chiapas in Mexico. Chiapas was poorest province of Mexico. In 1994, Zapatist movement declared a revolution, which in a quick extent of time took over the whole province and decentralized the government in local area. Although life standards increased in the autonomous region, Mexican government is often launching strikes on it. According to Eurobarometer poll, around 4% of Europeans believe that armed conflict is one of the biggest struggles of the world. Considering the fact of how easy it is to supply terrorist organizations or militias around the world, it isn't surprising that it was voted so high. Currently, there are a few main armed conflicts around the world. I'll point out 3 that I found the most significant. Arguably, the biggest conflict on the world right now is connected strictly with the so-called Islamic State. It is so significant because to some extent it targets all Muslims. Although this conflict seems like it's coming to an end, the next one isn't. I think that the second biggest conflict in the world right now is the one between Palestine and Israel. I say that mainly because of how aggressive the foreign policy of Israel is. Israel is in possession of nuclear warheads, and it has one of the best trained military in the world. It is also worth pointing out that USA supports Israel and Arab states support Palestine. UN tried to solve the problem, although it led to even bigger frictions. Pretty big tensions between USA and Syria are also happening. There are also pretty high frictions between the border of Turkey and Kurdistan. Although Middle East may seem far away, Europe doesn't. Russia annexing Crimea shocked the international scene. There is also pretty significant conflict between India and Pakistan,